Greetings fellow word lovers, Heavy Metal Bookworm here. Take it away, Booming Voice.
Weird shit's in my collection.
Thanks, Booming Voice. Yes, this week is the continuation of the weird, wonderful, wacky and somewhat obscure books that have somehow wormed their way into my collection over the years. Good God, my hair looks greasy. Anyway, this week I am bringing you Gene Lotus and David Burke's Get a Life. If you're not familiar with these names, I really don't blame you. They are both huge advocates of a TV-free lifestyle. Gene Lotus herself having created a website in 1996, I believe, in which she calls on people to throw television out of their life and basically get a life. David Burke himself is also no stranger to the anti-TV agenda. In 1999 he wrote and edited his own book, Spy TV, in which he basically accounts how television can and does spy on us and invade our privacy and where the technology can go from there. But that's a story for another day. So, Get a Life, published in 1998, is the culmination of these two collaborating together to sort of suit their own anti-TV agenda. Now, I bought this book several years ago after I cut television out of my life, almost entirely, which is a difficult thing to do when you live in a household in which every room in the house does have a TV. So, I purchased this. I can't actually remember where from or how much it costs, but it is a difficult one to get hold of, or it was at the time. But as you can see from the fading on the spine, it has done nothing really except sit on my bookshelf and be exposed to the sun. Now, I do watch TV now, not a huge amount, but I think it's safe to assume that, well, I still feel that the vast majority of it is a bit shit. And even though you've got your award-winning shows like your Breaking Bad and your Game of Thrones, etc, 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 I think many of you can agree that 70-80% of television isn't really worth it. Now, this book takes that a little step further, and the best way I can describe it is this is to television. Get a Life, Gene Lotus and David Burke are to television in the way that Richard Dawkins is to religion. So it gives you an idea of just how militarized their opinions are. They're not just giving some sort of advice on how to cut television out of your life and how to incorporate it in better ways, or advice on how to use it more healthily, what programs are good, which ones are educational. They literally tear apart the fundamentals and cultural underlyings and significance of television that we've become accustomed to over the decades. They pull apart all the ideals and the myths that we have about television, about whether it's educational or whether it's entertaining or whether it even relaxes you. Now, I read parts of this years ago, and even at the time, even though I was very much an advocate of this anti-TV lifestyle, as it were, I still didn't get it. It's not something I've actually managed to get through, and I think there's two reasons for that. One, going back to the Richard Dawkins reference, they are quite militarised and very, very, very opinionated in how they feel and how passionate they are about having a TV-free lifestyle. The problem I have is, unlike Richard Dawkins, who uses references and citations and evidence to support his findings, they don't. This is basically just page after page of headlinings and their ramblings and their opinions and how they feel about television on the whole. And there's no sort of evidence to back up what they're saying. And now, if you want to write a compelling argument to something, if you want to convince people of your rhetoric, you need to sort of back it up with something, surely. But they don't do that. I think, so it doesn't really they don't really back anything up. And I think the other reason why I couldn't get through this book is it's okay for people like me to sort of have a whinge and a moan about how crap television can be, but when you're trying to write a convincing book about it, it doesn't really come. You need to just sort of do it in a sort of professional manner, and they don't do that. It is just a whinge. It's just a moan. It's just them saying how awful television is, how it's not entertaining, how it's not educational, how it does ruin lives, how it's socially and healthily, how it corrupts, and that's part of the reason why even at the time, I just couldn't get into it. So while it's a nice idea for them to say, look, turn your TV off, throw it out, metaphorically, physically, whatever, throw it out, get rid of it and live your life, I don't think it has any convincing points to it. It's one of those sort of confirmation bias stances. It's just where if you're already against TV or you don't watch a lot of it and you read this, then you're going to agree with it. I mean, the bits I did manage to get through, I did sort of agree with it because I thought, well, that already matches my opinion. Richard Dawkins, I know I keep going back to that, but Richard Dawkins in his book, The God Delusion, actually calls upon people who are religious to read the book and to see if it can change their mind. It's not preaching to the choir, to use a phrase. And for that reason, it's just, I mean, I don't know why I still got it. I really, really don't. It's obscure, but I don't think it's like worth anything. It's sun-bleached, it's faded, it's gone all tan. No intention of reading it, no matter how much I might agree with someone what they say. And really, it's just a whinge. It doesn't really sort of offer any academic side to anything. So again, much like the other ones, this stays on my shelf for no seemingly good reason at all. Maybe I'll get rid of it in the future when I next move, who knows, but for now, thanks for checking it out. As always, let me know what you think in the comments below, give me any suggestions, and stay metal, my friends.